On the 17th of January, 1899, Alphonse Gabriel Capone was born, later known as Al Capone, in Brooklyn, New York, by an immigrant family who originally were from Italy. His father was Gabriel Capone, and his mother was Teresina Raiola. His father were from Castellamare di Stabia, 24 kilometers south of Neapel, and his mother from Angri, a city in the province of Savannah. He was one of 9 kids in the family of Capone, and he is here on a picture with his mother. He ended school after the 6th grade, and when he was a teenager, he became a member of the gangs 2 Brooklyn Rippers and 40 Thieves. After these kind of small gangs, he joined 5 Points gang, which leader was Frankie Yale. That's the man on the picture. When he was in 5 Points gang, he began to work as a guard for Frankie Yale's place called Hoarding. And it was when he worked as a guard, he got a scar that gave him the nickname Scarface, after a fight with a man called Galuccio. On the 13th of December 1918, he married May Josephine Coughlin, that he had a son with name Albert Francis Capone. And then he became a member of the Ames Street Gang, later known as the Family Genovese, which leader was Johnny Torrio. And Johnny Torrio saw that Al Capone was a man he could count on. When he saw that he was a man he could count on, he told him to move to Chicago. Quick after his arrival in Chicago, Torrio saw his potentials and gave him the responsibility of the alcoholic and prostitution business. And the alcoholic business couldn't have better circumstances because alcoholic had been forbidden in the United States since 1920. Sometimes it's tell that Al Capone's mob is responsibility to the Valentine's Day massacre while he were in Florida. The mob were dressed as police and killed 7 men by a garage port. Al Capone should have been into a federal jury on the 12th of March 1929 due to Enzo Bueno, but he was too sick to be heard by the jury, he said, so they moved it to the 20th of March instead. And on the 27th of March, he had completed his testimony but was arrested outside the court by agents for contempt of court, which means, in this case, that he wasn't really sick when the first meeting with the federal jury should have been held. So, therefore, he hadn't followed the rules of the court and was not following the rules, which means that he could get 1 year in prison, but instead he paid $5,000 bond and was released. On the 17th of May 1929, Al Capone and his bodyguard were arrested in Philadelphia for the carry of concealed deadly weapons. Within 16 hours they had been sentenced to 1 year in prison, but Al Capone only needed to be in prison in 9 months because of his good behavior. He was released on the 17th of March 1930. On the 28th of February 1931, Capone was found guilty to contempt of court and was sentenced to 6 months of prison in Cook County, Yale. On the 18th of October 1931, and on the 24th of November the same year, Al Capone was sentenced to 11 years in prison, $50,000 in fine, $7,692 in court costs, $215,000 in back taxes. One of the prison he is spending his prison time was Alcatraz, and the other was U.S. Penitentiary in Atlanta. On the 16th of November 1939, Al Capone was released after spending 7.5 years in prison and paid all the money. He suffered from syphilis and never returned to Chicago, and was due to his doctor at the same mental level as a 12-year-old child. He moved to Florida and died on January 25, 1947, after a stroke and pneumonia. He made a big impact on the society. With his alcoholic business, he made the government think that they couldn't have the ban on alcohol anymore, because alcohol would be in the society anyway, and with the ban, it would be criminal activities that got the alcohol to the public, and with less bans, less criminality. There have been many movies and series made about him, and he still does. For an example, in the series Boardwalk Empire, he is in character. And he's doing what he's best at. Alcoholic business. And in 34 movies, he plays himself, thanks to archive photos. And this was all I had to tell about Al Capone. Thanks for listening.